Okay, good afternoon all. Hope everyone is well. Okay, so low volume overnight, really low volume. We spent most of the time in this little tight range, just sort of going nowhere really, but we've had a break up, little bit of sideways, and we broke out the top. So see how we get on today anyway, but it's just yesterday actually improved. We had loads of chop and we finally actually took off a little bit. So whether there was anything there later, there was a couple of legs back. There just wasn't a great deal of trades around really. Yesterday I took nothing all day. So let's see if it's a better day today. Hopefully it will be. So Karina, good morning to you. FSN, how you doing, buddy? Okay, so a little bit of range there. We've had a breakout which failed. Let's see if it tests this bottom, pushes back up, or it comes down. We have broken yesterday's highs. So let's have a look. Maybe we do something like that. Who knows? Right, let's have a look. See what Mr. Wade's got. Daryl, how you doing, bud? So Thomas Wade's just got exactly the same as me. There's not much else you can do really. We've got two ranges really. But it is generally bullish at the moment. If I have a quick look at the daily. Something's not right there. Okay, yeah. So this is quite bullish at the moment. We've had kind of a couple of attempts to push low and a strong move up. So we are not far at all from all-time highs. I say this every day. I think we are, what, 120 odd points away. It's not a lot really. We more or less did that on Monday. Let me have a look. So we opened here, yeah, not far away. So another day, by the end of the week, maybe not even that, we could be at all-time highs. Amazing how quick all this recovers. You know, that was the tariffs, and then obviously, woof, up we go. So it is good to see markets recovering like that, especially if you got any like your pensions in here or something. You don't like to see that, but that's the beauty of these pensions or longer-term investments. Doesn't really matter what happens day to day or month to month. It's done it again. Look, every time I change to a different time frame, my template changes. Strange. Okay, so possibly a second entry long here. It's a tough one. Break out the top, break out the bottom. Straight lines tattoo, how you doing, bud? I'm just going to open up an order down here just in case. Second entry long, see if it triggers below there. Why hasn't it come up there on my range bar? I'm on a sim. Why am I on a sim?
Order cancelled.
98 I wanted to be. Let's
Order
just check.
submitted.
Okay, yeah. Not sure about. There is a small second entry long there, but it's just risky. I don't know what this thing's going to do at the moment. It could be a failure there. This may come down, so I'm not really sure at the moment. So I'm just going to sit tight and give this a little bit of space. Armanas, how you doing, my friend? There is a second entry long, but that's the signal bar really. There's not a lot you can do. Something's wrong. My Ninja Trade is showing minus gross. Just open the platform. You didn't leave an order open or anything, did you? Minus. Mine looked different. Okay, give me a second. Cancelled. Let me reload them. How you doing, Sean? Nothing. Check it. Check your. Are they with Rhythmic? Are they Apex with Rhythmic? Just check your. Check this. One, two, three. There's like a triple test there. Are you Tradeovate? just checking your TradeAvate, log into your TradeAvate and just have a check. I don't generally, well, I have got TradeAvate to be fair on my on one of my accounts, but I'm not super familiar with it. It's tempting, that is. I'm just going to sit tight as well. I don't like trading ranges so much. I'm not very good at them. It could put up. I mean, we've pushed up into this, and often when we push up into it, we push out the top. They look the same, do they? Okay, no worries. Yeah, I'm glad I left that now. Unless we get a lower high here. Trouble is, it's such a tight range. It's not even 4 points, so it's just too risky to trade a 4-point range, especially not so bad if you're going for a point, but if you're going for 3 points like me, not so good. It does look like it's going to push up there. I mean, you could argue we've had a push up. We've had 1, 2, 3 attempts to go higher. Triple test technically is, but you could argue we got a triple test at the bottom as well. So, I mean, usually from experience, we push up. When we go sideways, we push out of it. But as we've broken yesterday's highs, it's hard to know what this thing is going to do at the moment. So this is just a no trade zone, really. Okay, so I'm glad I left that. Vintage 8-tick SOP. Historical, I'd say. In fact, we had a buy yesterday, didn't we? There was a short off the top, and it was about 1.75, including tick above, tick below. Where was it now? Was it yesterday? I think it was. Can't remember now. It was tiny. There was a few small bars. In fact, the ATR was quite low yesterday. It did drop right down. It's pretty low today, actually, 2.75. I kind of like it under 3. So it did push up, took that out for 1 tick. Typical market. That's what it does. I mean, there's always a possibility we could get a second leg up. You just never know. It's hard to say when it's doing this. You may go long here to push up and it may trigger above and come back down. But kind of touches there and touches there. It's just still too early, really. We could just be in a big range there, especially as we've broken yesterday's highs. I wouldn't want to just jump into assume this thing was going higher. I'm guessing it possibly will. We've had a range. We've pushed up. We've had a range. It kind of makes sense, doesn't it? But there's no point in trading what I think might happen. I want to be pretty certain. Waiting for power. I looked at this actually and thought, I'm sure that happened yesterday. So he's obviously testifying 2 days in a row, is he? It does look like it's slowly grinding, doesn't it? But sometimes it'll do that. It'll suck you in there, suck you in here, and all of a sudden, woof, down it'll come. Down, 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 and just make your life miserable. See, they say don't take trading personally. The market's not out to get you. I disagree. I think that's exactly what it's out to do. The thing is, you know, market makers and that, they know where the cheap stops are, so they are after the money, really. It's like a cycle, isn't it? You've got inexperienced traders throwing money at it, losing money, and the experienced traders make the money. And then when the inexperienced traders get more experience, they start to make it. So there's like a constant cycle of new money that comes in. So it's quite hard not to take it personal, especially when you get in for it. It comes down, takes you out for one tick, and goes in the same bloody direction you expect it to. The trouble is, from a newbie's perspective, trading Pats is hard because, you know, that one tick below the signal bar, you know, you've got no room for error. It is like walking on a bloody razor blade. The slightest slip and you're going to lose your nuts. Probably didn't come out how I expected it, but there is a higher low there. I'm guessing that might not be a bad entry, but I'm assuming it's going to go up. We could just have a breakout that failed. So let's say I jumped in here somewhere for put me stop there. Let's see if this does what I think. Trouble is, if we are just ranging, this may not be a channel. We could break out, tick above that, and then down we come, taking out that stop, and maybe something else. And his older videos from 30. Yeah, he does, did he? He did, yeah. He did. The trouble is, we've all experienced that, haven't we? One tick, and it takes you out exactly for a tick, and then ends up going where you expect it. You know, I do wonder sometimes whether you get it, but it's just one of those things, isn't it? You know, there are, you know, possibilities if you do it that way, but if you give it extra couple of ticks every time you lose a trade, you're losing a couple of ticks. I don't know whether it's more beneficial. I've tried looking at it before. In fact, I've done it many times before. And I think my experience is you're better off just to get a bit better and take a better setup and not have to deal with it taking out your stop. But I think Pats, from a strategy point of view, is particularly difficult for newer traders. I was watching a guy, I was watching him this morning. Let me see if I can find him. A British trader. He trades on Ninja Trader as well. Let me have a look at my history. I was watching one this morning. This is something I want to maybe consider doing. That's it there. Let me just kill the sound. So that's the guy there. Paul Bettridge, his name is. And he, let me just see. Okay, so he explains there how he does it. But he trades it from the first 3 candles of the, I think it's the 9:30 London Open. And what he does is he's just sort of simulated them there, and what he looks for is, I think the first 3 candles of the London Open, he puts like a little range. It's just basically an open range breakup out strategy. And what he does is, if it breaks out to the top, if it closes above the top, he puts his order there, puts his stop there, and he risks 1 to make 3. Now, he says it's got an 80% win rate, which, if you're risking 1 to make 3, sounds a bit extreme to me. If you're winning 8 out of 10 times and you're making 3 times what you risk, that's large profits. Now, whether it is that or not, I don't know. But I'm going to start having a look at it, because the trouble is with me trading US markets, I don't usually get to the charts till around about 1:30, which is an hour before the general market opens. So I've got like 5 or 6 hours in my early day, which I could do something. And this is kind of a set and forget scenario. So there's no reason I couldn't, you know, get into something like that. But what he basically does is, I think that's where his entry is. That's where his stop is. Price went up, came back, didn't take his stop, went out and gave him his profits. And also he trades a retest as well. So, you know, if you want something new to learn, it's not rocket science, this. You know, we've all heard of open range breakout. There's various different scenarios and various different times, but he trades that on the 5 minute. But I think it's from the 9 or 9:30 London Open. The first 3 bars, he draws a little range, and then when we get a close outside, whether it's to the upside or downside, that's where he puts an order, stop below there, and he risks 1 to make 3. I mean, it's a good risk to reward. It's even better if it works 80% of the time. I can't see it myself. For usually, the less you risk, the bigger your profit margins, the less you win. You know, if you're risking 1 to 1, if you're making 1 to 1, 80% is a bloody good win rate, but 1 to 3, I don't know. But have a look. His name's Paul Bettridge. He's a British guy. Have a look and see if that strikes out any interest. Why don't you add gold and oil? I used to trade a little bit of oil, actually. I know, I think is it Eric in Max Forum trades it, and I got a message from Marco. Where's my Facebook? I got a message from Marco about a couple of months ago, said he'd been trading it, to have a look at it. Have a look. Where was it? Can't remember what it was now. Oh, it's a little bit further back than this. Oh, I talked to him quite a bit, so there's quite a lot. Forget what it was now. Oh, was that it? Maybe not. No, can't find it now. Marco mentioned to me, I don't know if you remember, guys, I did it. I had the CL chart up here on and off for a while. The trouble is, if someone happens to look for it one day and you see a load of trades, you know, the tendency is to start doing it. But it doesn't. It's like this. Sometimes the range chart looks good. Other times it doesn't. You know, there's always one chart that looks good. I suppose that's why a lot of people have various charts. You know, people will have the S&P, they'll have the NQ, they'll have oil, they'll have maybe a range chart. They might look at SPY and others, and they can kind of trade it like that. Now, it depends how you trade. This is quite fast moving, and we go very short stop. So I've found sometimes looking at 2 is enough. Now, the one thing that makes this easier is they're both the same chart. It's the bars are just situated slightly different. So if I'm looking for long here, I'm looking for long there. So that I don't think is too hard. But sometimes when I'm looking at another chart as well, I tend to focus on one and not the other, rather than having, you know, looking at them all at the same time. But okay, so we had a breakout there which failed. So that trade wouldn't have worked. That's why you can't just assume there's a channel there. There still may be, depending on how you go from it. But that probably would look a little better. But that's the trouble, is it's just assuming stuff. I like to say what I think, but I don't get into trades based on what I assume are going to happen. So this now, that's the trouble as well. We have broken yesterday's highs. We may get a pullback. I suppose you're probably going to get traders taking profits up here. So we may just end up having may just be a bigger range day. I'd say it probably is. Just for now, let's just change that. Ooh, very purple. So yeah, what do you do? There's not a lot you can do here really. Are we coming down at the bottom? Possibly. Are we having a breakout this side of that and going back in? Possibly. I think we've come down a bit too far for that, in all honesty. Microscopic. Yeah, there's so many different ways, isn't there? The trouble is, trading this London times, in my opinion, is crap. Especially on the 2000 tick chart. That's London hours. There's nothing you can do with that. So many days, it's like that. Let's look at yesterday's London hours. So that wasn't too bad. Although there wasn't nothing. It's just, the trouble is, if you trade in London hours, you've got to really go for a time-based chart like the 5-minute or 2-minute 2000 tick chart. There's just not enough. There's just not enough volume coming into the markets, really. That day wasn't too bad. But I can't see any Pat's entrance really there. We've more or less got the same sort of thing as we've got now. That move up, and you're hoping it's going to go up in Renko. Yeah, I mean, if you're trading something like Renko, or you're trading, 1-minute chart or 5-minute chart, obviously you're going to get a lot more bars, aren't you? And you've got more information, but that information just tells you to stay out of it and go back to bed, in my opinion. There's just nothing you can do with that, really. You can't do anything there. I've tried trading this open sometimes. Sometimes it will give you a bearish bar and push up, or a really strong bullish bar, trigger it and come down. But I looked at this last night. We had, I think it was a spike in channel. And if you'd have trusted that, you'd have been looking for a short up here, and we didn't get below there. So nothing you can really do. But that open range thing, I'm going to start having a look at that. I might back test it a bit just for a bit of fun. But it's you look for the first 3 bars, which is 15 minutes, and you're looking for a breakout and a close, and then you can just put it in and set it for a get. I think what he does is he risks $100 to make 3. That guy, he uses prop firms as well, and he trades on Ninja Trader, so it makes it a bit easier. But it's not it's a pretty straight. The thing is, once you've been trading a while, you can more or less accustomize yourself to, or climatize yourself to, other strategies within reason. Some strategies are complicated, but that open range is pretty straightforward. So if you've got some time and you want to throw a trade in and just leave it, walk away and let it go, you can't really do that how we trade, but respect the structure. Yeah, once you've been trading a while and you understand how price works and how markets work in general and how they kind of move, you can adapt that to most ways of trading. Especially that open range, it's relatively straightforward. So there is technically a second entry short there. Trouble is, I don't like this. I would prefer that to push higher. If I was going to take a trade there, I'd want that, the top of that red bar there tucked right underneath there. I'd take a first entry if I saw that. Although that is technically a second entry, but it is a double bottom, so you could recount it. But I'd rather have a couple of attempts up, really, if I wanted to. You'd want this to fail twice before you took it lower. I don't think that's a failed breakout of here. That was, but this has gone a bit too far, especially as we've tested the bottom and dropped. So I'd have said it's probably not a failure of this. So I'm guessing this could quite easily come down for a second leg. But until I get some confirmation, pal, I wish these people would speak after hours. Make our lives a lot better. That wouldn't look too bad, actually, something like that. So we've had a little leg up with a small pullback and another leg up. New home sales in 5 minutes says, yeah, the good thing is they're all at the same time, aren't they? New home sales doesn't usually, in memory, do a great deal, but, you know, we all used to, I mean, up until about 6 or 8 months ago, I never used to pay attention to medium impact news. Then we had some medium impact news which spiked like crazy. And from then on, every time we get medium impact news, it can be really volatile. So I always pay attention to them now. So the trouble is, a failed breakout, it's come down more or less the depth of the actual range itself, hasn't it? Yeah. I hope you're not drinking champagne beer and more beer there, Karina. So when's that news? 3 minutes. I'll tell you what, while I'm not doing nothing, I'm just going to make myself a cup of tea. I've been up here for about an hour and a half. I start trading now from 1:30, although not a lot happens, but I know Mac trades from around about, what time is he? Did he say 7:30, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1:30? Yeah, Mac's 6 hours behind me, and he trades from 7:30, which is 1:30 UK time. So I've started getting it here then as well. I've got my Guardian Angel trader set from 1:30 to 6:30. That gives me 5 hours, which I think is plenty enough to find something. Two losses a day, max 1 contract on here, and 4 contracts on the MES. Should I see any type of a penguin setup, which we haven't had much lately. So I'm going to make a quick cup of tea and let this news come and go. Certainly the home sales news. I'm guessing Powell's going to be yabbering away for a while, so you need to open a liquor store. No, I'm only going to get I'm going to make a cup of tea. I'll be 3 to 5 minutes. Okay, so new home sales didn't really do much, to be honest with you. If there is something up there, I don't think there is. I mean, it's possible. There could be something like that. It's not working too bad around the midline. 10-10, is he? Doesn't do a lot. Now and again, you'll get a little flutter, won't you? It's just hard to, I mean, we had a channel down there with a break, but we pushed right up almost to the top. So I'm going to get rid of that now. Let's leave it over there. So we've got a channel up, something up, maybe a couple of attempts to go lower, and this may push up. Who knows? Who knows? It's just ranging, really, isn't it? With no kind of real clear top or bottom, really. It's just, there's not very much you can do, really. This is the time to put your feet up, play some music, I think. I had my first ever, let me have a look, my first ever commission for Tradeify yesterday. Tells you the name as well. Let me just thank the gentleman. Let me find it. Somebody Khan it was. Let me have a look. Tradeify new order referral. Let me have a look. It actually tells you the name of the person. I don't know if that's a good thing or not, is it? But let me thank the gentleman. Never had one for Tradeify. Obviously, it's a little bit more costly, isn't it, Tradeify? So it's not for everyone. Mustafa Khan. So if you're listening, Mustafa, I appreciate it. Use the link. And you pick yourself up, I think it's a 25,000 straight to funded account. So that made me a bit of commission. So much appreciated. Thank you. Mustafa Khan, thanks very much. So anybody who's ever used my code, you don't have to. You can use anyone's code, really, but it does help me, especially at the moment. It's been a bit of a tough month, so it is appreciated. Yeah, as Karina says, be careful. It's not really much. You can't really do much with this at the moment. It's just, I wouldn't say choppy, but it's just swinging a little bit up and down with no real direction. You don't know whether it's going to go a bit higher here or come down. So there is no direction really. So let me see if I can find him at least when he spoke. I thought Trump was quite comical yesterday. when he was talking about Iran and Iraq, saying they don't know what the fuck they're doing. It's not often you hear Trump using selective language like that, but I thought it was quite funny. He's certainly not a fan of CNN. There's no denying that. Powell talking live. Let's have a look. Okay, he's talking now, actually. Okay, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Let's just drop that down there. That's not in the way, is it? Can I, how do I get that to stay on top? But I can't, can I? No, as long as I don't click on it, I'm okay. So I'll leave that down there in the bottom corner, so at least we can see when he's done. Yeah, just incidentally, if any of you guys are on unable to re-establish connection, that's unusual. If any of you guys are on Dan's forum, he has a bunch of videos. I watched the rejection video last night. Where is it? Rejection. He's got lessons in here as well. I didn't realise. He mentioned something in the comments the other day, and I asked him about it, and he went, "Yeah, it's." I messaged him the other day and said, "Where is it?" So it's about a 40-minute lesson. Actually, it talks about rejection, and it is helpful. And what I will say as well, when he does these chart reviews, video chart reviews, where are they? Chart review video. When he does these, it's almost kind of like what you want from Mac. So if you are in his Discord, have a watch of some of these. They're interesting. He talks about what he's seeing and whether he thinks it's a good trade or not. It's kind of what we want from Mac, really. See, looking on this range chart here, we've had a channel down with a push up. There's a lower high there, which triggered and stopped out, but there's also a second entry long failure there. But the trouble is, it's a bit congested, and we've got a doji here as well. So I knew that would happen. So I wouldn't stay out of this at the moment. Not only that, it is congested here as well. There's 4 bars back to back. We have got to push down. So my gut feeling, it's probably going to push down at least below there. There's probably going to be bits of liquidity. So it probably worth that, but as Powell's talking at the moment, it could be just a little bit unpredictable. Well, with the look on her face, it sounds more like interrogation. So at least we can see when he's finished anyway. But yeah, it's just stagnating, really, isn't it? This PA reminds me of Mac's older videos. 10-point range the entire day. Yeah. If anybody hasn't watched some of Mac's older videos on YouTube, go and have a look at them. They're interesting. You can tell, some of the trades he took, we wouldn't take. Put it that way. And I showed you one maybe a month or two ago where he missed a trade. And it went and made 2.5 points, and he let it come back to him. He got into it again. It would have stopped him out, but he moved his stop about 3 ticks, and he got away with it. So, I know Mac goes on about you've got to be patient and all that, but Mac's had his fair share of, interesting trades in the past. So go and have a look if you're stuck for something to do one night. Just click on the older videos and have a look at them. There's quite a few actually. And if he said he's been trading 25 plus years, those videos were 13 years ago. So he's had at least 12 years experience when he took those trades. So actually, I kind of feel quite good about that. So if he was still taking odd trades back then, it took Mac a while as well. So it did work for 12 ticks there. I thought it might do. We've got a leg down. We kind of went sideways. Bullish bar there, triggered, came down. So my, guess was it was going to come down, but it is a bit stacked. So as much as I think it's coming down, it doesn't look particularly good. So yeah, it would have just ticked me through there. I'm guessing it may clear out those, or at least bounce on the midline, which would certainly be enough. Speedy, how you doing, pal? His trend lines have changed. Yeah, they have. Yeah, you can see how he's developed himself. So, it wasn't all roses for him. He had his fair share of troubles as well. Mind you, I suppose he was learning for himself. We've got him to sort of bounce off to a degree. Leg and leg. But yeah, there's not really much you can do here, to be honest with you. Just finished, everybody. Good on you, mate. Little Hammer, how you doing, pal? I'm all good, mate. I'm all right, actually. I'm all right. That week off I had did me the world of good. Yeah, I can't emphasize enough I just never really taken holidays since I've been trading, to be honest with you. Only when I've kind of been forced to, because well, because I've been frustrated something's going wrong, where I think it's important to take random bits of time off. I'm certainly going to take just a week, complete week off, probably 3 times a year, once every 4 months. Obviously, we got Christmas break as well, because I think it's good. And not only that, even sometimes when I've had little bits of time off in the past, I'm still looking at the charts. I mean, if you've got a normal full-time job and you take a holiday, you don't go back to work part the way through that, do you? You completely walk away. So I'm going to make a point of doing that. I'll do one more before Christmas and just literally shut the computer down and just not look at it for a complete week, and have a reset. I think you forget how important breaks are really from your normal day-to-day routine, especially something like trading, because it's notoriously frustrating at times. So we've got a channel down here with a break. It does kind of look like it's looping down. But there also looks like it may be bouncing off. There's clearly some support there. So it may be bouncing off support. So I wouldn't automatically think it would be a great idea to take a short there. Especially with some support here. You can clearly see it there. Trouble is, like anything, if you do nothing, it works as soon as you get in. So you just have to trust your gut. It's a bit unclear here, really, anyway. So if we had a clearer 2 legs up there, that may interest me, but it's not super clear. And Powell is talking right now, so who knows what he's going to say. It says something positive, it could push up. Oh, wow. Oh my good grief. I've just had a quick flick through to see how everyone else is doing. Alpine has absolutely been crucified. Oh my God, he's down thousands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. He's down about 35,000. Oh no, and the rest. Oh my God, he's been crucified. 4,000, 5.5, 6.5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 30. He's down about 35 grand on all his accounts. Oh my God, he was doing so well. How come he's down so much? Oh dear me, that's the time to walk away. Yeah, he does. He's done brilliantly lately. I mean, I think the last time he lost a bunch of accounts were about maybe 8 weeks ago. He was due to go away on holiday, wasn't he? And I think he lost all his accounts. Was it 14 or 15 accounts? He maybe had 2 or 3 left. And he just couldn't seem to make money. He was really struggling. And now the last sort of 6 weeks, he's done really well. He's had great payouts in June, but he's got crucified today. Trouble is, when something doesn't go his way, he does tend to, I don't think he uses stop so much, does he? He does tend to let it go a bit, but he's got to be down 35,000 today. The trouble is, as he's still trading, he's probably going to try and get it back, and sometimes that can just... how you doing? Lucas, how you doing, mate? I'm all right, pal. How are you? I don't like to see anybody do bad. I really don't. He's not my favourite type of person. He can come over a bit arrogant sometimes, but, you know, I like the fact he's got a lot of commitment and he's a trier, so, you know, I respect him as a trader. I don't like to see anybody do bad, especially not that bad. I know what it feels like. It's gut-wrenching when something crucifies you like that. You're asking yourself what the hell went wrong. Which is why, I don't know why he doesn't use some sort of, you know, something to protect your account should stuff go drastically wrong. And he's lost 2,000 or 3,000 on some of his accounts. I'd consider that as drastically wrong. How's Nutty doing? Is he trading today? He's a guy I like a lot. Oh, he's not trading today. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, so there is a second entry short there. Trouble is, we got one doji and a bunch stacked. Now, is this going to go down just with what it's looking like? I'd say probably, but 3 or 4 more bars stacked side by side with one of them a doji. At least one of them's a doji. That's the tick off being a doji. So it's just a no. It's just not worth taking that. But channel down and a couple of attempts to push up. I'd say it's probably going to work. Certainly to get below there, but I'm staying out of this. Powell's talking at the moment. And not only that, we have bounced 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times off support there. So going short there, if you put it right below that signal bar, you'd be going short right in the support. Now, it doesn't mean it won't work, but so it has triggered that. My guess is it will probably work, but if I took that and it failed, the answer would be I went short into support, and when it's stacked up as well, and at least one of them is a doji, so that would be the answer. So if it's a no trade, regardless of whether I think it's going to work, I just can't say, and that is not what you want to see. So we push back down and immediately push up. So if you're in that trade, that picked off a bit of liquidity, so it could bounce and push higher. So if you took that trade, you wouldn't have even got a point, I don't think, or barely. So if you went there, you wouldn't have even got a point. If you went a tick, you got to push through, which usually means a point and a quarter. And look at that. Where's that going? Now, it could be a triple test. So look at that. Look, it's cruel, really, isn't it? When you see that channel down, clear 2 pushes up. But the fact is, 1, 2, 3, 4, there's 5, maybe 6 bars. 2 of them are a doji. That's close to a doji. Although it does look like we've tried to push up twice. The tendency, I suppose, is to think, okay, we go down for a second leg, and what happens? Comes down just a bit and reverses. I think it should stop out. Starting to sound a bit scary now. I know our Prime Minister's talking about preparing the country for possible war. I know we're increasing our defence budget, I think, by 5%. It's starting to just, I don't quite understand it all. You know, it's just mind-boggling at the moment. Why are we preparing ourselves for war? I just don't get it. You know, I have heard experts talking about Putin saying he's not stupid. But who knows? I know there's talk about possible negotiations, solid negotiations between Russia and Zelensky, between Putin and Zelensky. Obviously, there is supposed to be a ceasefire at the moment with Iran and Israel. So now all of a sudden we seem to be getting somewhere, and our Prime Minister's increased his defence budget and talking about the country needs to prepare itself for possible war. Feels good to be done. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice when you don't have to trade sometimes. You know, sometimes if I get a trade in, I know for certain I won't take another trade, but I'm happy sitting at the charts and just watching what's going on. It is good sometimes to not trade. I used to do it once in a while, but when I haven't taken a trade, it's kind of nice. I'm okay with that. I didn't take a trade yesterday. It's quite a relaxing trading session. I've got to say, when you get into trades, that increases. There was a trader who used to have I know Sam did it for a while, 5Trader, had a heart monitor on, and it's quite interesting. You can obviously see the anxiety that cuts in. You know, when you get into a trade, you can see that heart rate climb to over. I hate to think what my heart will be doing. I should check sometimes, put a heart monitor on just to see how high it goes. But I wouldn't be surprised if it crept quite comfortably over the 100 level. I've got quite a good resting heart rate. It's about 60, 65 beats a minute, which is pretty good actually. But I'm pretty sure it would double and some when I'm in a trade. So we've had a channel down. We have had 2 legs up and a strong move down. 10 points at that point. His heart rate went. Trouble is, just by looking at your heart rate, I think is going to increase even more, isn't it? Trump wants NATO to increase. Yeah, I believe we have by 5%. I know I think we've ordered 5 new fighter jets capable of carrying US nuclear missiles. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's quite a mess at the moment, isn't it? The world in general, especially around the Middle East. Yeah, it is, isn't it? It is crazy, isn't it? It still amazes me in this day and age how sort of people treat each other. It's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy. Disco, how you doing, buddy? I wonder how the gorilla trader's going on. He lives just outside Tel Aviv. I used to enjoy watching him, and he just stopped all of a sudden. I'm not sure exactly why. Trouble is, we're all just as bad. I mean, look at all that stuff with Tony Blair going into Iraq with so-called weapons of mass destruction, which never existed in the end. So they invaded a country. Where's the difference with what's happening in Europe now? He should have been. I think Blair should have been done for war crimes. A lot of people do. Weapons of mass destruction. There were none. Crazy. Excited about another weird range day. Yeah, you and me both, mate. I'm assuming a lot of this is probably because Powell's talking at the moment, which is why it's just chopping up and down a little bit, not really doing much. We might just have to sit through this for a while. A good time to take a break, put your feet up, I think. I don't know how long you'll be talking for. I think it was well over an hour. Was it an hour and 40 minutes, I think, yesterday? So he does look like he's sat in court, doesn't he? Trying to save his freedom. It is, isn't it? The thing is about the Middle East, there's one thing they've got a lot of, which nobody else has, is oil. I mean, look at all the stuff. Look at the atrocities that have been going on in Africa for years and years. UK's never really been, well, I mean, obviously there was Sierra Leone, stuff like that, but they've never spent much time in Africa, have they? But Middle East contains one hell of a lot of oil. Probably not as much as there used to be. And, you know, I'm on the fence that how can you have nuclear weapons yourself and then say to another country you can't have them in your own country? Don't get me wrong, I don't want nutters having nuclear weapons. I don't want anyone having nuclear weapons, but I don't see how you can go into someone else's house and say, you can't do that, but I can in mine. It kind of doesn't make sense. So I sometimes understand where Putin comes from. But you don't want any kind of nutter having a nuclear weapon, do you? See, this is looking like, to me, we're going to have a second leg up. But that looked like it was coming down, so you never know. It's just a no trade zone, really, at the moment. But it does look like we're doing something like that, or it did about 10 seconds ago. Yeah, Iran, yeah. But, you know, the West have said to Iran, you can't have nuclear weapons. When the West have got them yourself, it's always kind of surprised me. Don't get me wrong, I don't want nutters having nuclear weapons. Obviously, Putin's got nuclear weapons. But, you know, Iran have had this nuclear program for a while now. But how can you go into someone else's backyard and say, you can't do that and we can? I understand if the West had got rid of theirs or they were decommissioning them, I understand being able to say that then, but see, nuclear power's kind of a good thing, isn't it? But the trouble is, once they kind of enrich this uranium, that's when it starts to get a lot more powerful. But nuclear power, I know we've got nuclear powered submarines, and they can be powered for something like 60 years. It's crazy, and with sort of very little. So I mean, if you look at power, you know, burning coal, electric, all that sort of stuff, you know, there are a lot of side effects. There's lots of emissions and all that sort of stuff. But with nuclear power, there isn't, I believe. Yeah, I mean, nuclear weapons really are always a deterrent, aren't they? Because no one really wins from nuclear war. Everybody loses, really. But I suppose it's that deterrent, isn't it? But no one ever wins from a nuclear war. Russia fire them, the UK, the US, Europe fire them, and no one really wins. I've got to say, men have got a lot to answer for, really, haven't they? The way we kind of treat this planet that we've been kind of given to take care of temporarily. I've got to say, you say Australia, New Zealand, it always seems to stem around highly religious people. You know, when I was at school and we did kind of any type of religious studies, I always thought heavily religious people were among the most peaceful out there. Now I know there's it's not always as straightforward that, but I mean, even places like Northern Ireland, Catholics and Protestants have been killing each other for years. It's better than it was now, but you know, it's religion. Religion seems to just cause trouble wherever it goes, really, to a degree. I mean, if you look, the Crusades. You look back even to the Catholics, some of the stuff they used to do. We're not sort of heavy religious in the UK. We used to be a bit more, but I think religion's kind of losing its identity a little bit in the UK. You know, I don't know anybody who goes to church. When I was younger, we always went to church. Mind you, we were a military family, so we kind of, you know, all the military kind of went, but it's kind of youngsters these days, they don't go to church anymore. They spend all their time on their PlayStations and gaming and computers. It's sad in a way, but, you know, I know a lot of the Middle East, heavy religious. America's position in the war, it's a tough one, isn't it? It's a tough one. You don't know whether doing something that Trump did is going to make things better or make things worse. It's hard to know, really. I suppose he can be judged by his actions in time, but should he have done it? I don't know, really. I don't know. I mean, if Iran were very close to having a nuclear weapon and there was a possibility they could use it on places like Israel, then he may have done the world a great favour. But I'm pretty sure it was talked about a year or two ago, maybe not that long, that Iran were still were years away from developing, a nuclear weapon. So it's hard to say, really. I mean, if it's true, I mean, we only know small little bits. There's all sorts of intelligence going on in the background that we'll never get to hear about. So although some things might seem a little bit steep at the time, you don't know what stuff goes on around the background. You know, if they are close to having a nuclear weapon and they do drop a nuclear weapon on Israel, that's going to change the world as we know it. So, you know, it's hard to say, really. I think Trump got heard talking to a reporter. I think it was on Air Force One. It was my daughter who showed me this morning. And he was talking about Kim Jong-un, that his people stand up and listen to him. And that's what I want my people to do. So, you know, there's a lot of people talk about Trump. I don't want to go into politics because people get passionate about it. And you don't know you're going to upset and all that. You know, this isn't about politics. But, you know, Trump doesn't come over as a very presidential type. But, you know, a lot of people say it was good for the US and good for the economy during his last term. So, I don't know, who knows, really? I'm not a politician. So, you know, I don't know a lot about it, really, about politics. I know little bits about it, but not enough. So, for me to make a sort of a valid opinion, probably isn't so good, is it? But there's probably all sorts of... two legs up. There's all sorts of intelligence that comes out daily that we'll never know about. So you don't really know. I read a book a while ago. It was called Soldier Spy. It was about a guy who was, I think he was in the Special Forces in the UK. I think he was in the SES in the UK. And then he went on to work for MI5 or MI6. And he was one of the very few people that have ever wrote a book and they've allowed it to be, printed and released. And he said, you'd be amazed about the things that are foiled on a weekly basis in the UK. You know, the terrorism, possible terrorism attacks. We don't know a lot of that stuff, really, do we? And it's probably right that we don't. But there's probably so much that goes on in the background, and decisions are made based on that intelligence that we'll never know about. It, you know, we just take an opinion on what do we think. Was it a good idea? Was it not? But you know, if there was valid intelligence that they were very close to a nuclear weapon, there's a good chance they were going to drop it on Israel. Then it might be a good idea that we knocked them back a few years. But who knows? We'll never know, really, will we? We'll never know the real truth. I don't think stuff like that comes out in time over history, doesn't it? Come on, pal, get on with it, lad. We want to do some trading. We are finding some support up here, but a little bit of range, maybe a small breakout there. Who knows? It's still too choppy, really. It's not safe to get in there. My experience is a lot of these bars like that, they trigger, stop out. Just seems to pick off liquidity, so there's not really much we can do here, unfortunately, until Powell. I'm guessing when Powell finishes, it might decide to liven up a fraction. So if you had taken that little short at the top there, it has triggered you and it looks like it's pushing up. But we have found a lot of support here. You can see that along there. So it may decide to push back up. Who knows? It's a toss of a dice, trades like that, I think, especially when it's this choppy and very wicky as well. They do, yeah. We're all guilty, aren't we? Men have a lot to answer for, really, don't they? We're all guilty in one way. You may look at the Catholics, you may look at the history of Rome, you may look at the beautiful buildings and the very religious people, but the Catholics did some awful stuff in the past. So we're all guilty one way or another. So yeah, if you took that little break out there, trigger just stopped you out. So. I mean, but things change. If you've only got to look at Germany. I mean, look at Germany during the war and Hitler and all this sort of thing. Germany is a good, prosperous country, good ally now. But it wasn't so long ago. They were a sort of big enemy of the world. But Middle East seemed to take a lot longer to sort of change and to come around. But Germany's turned into a fantastic ally, great, prosperous country. But you've only got to look back a small amount of time, really, and look at Hitler and the Nazis and all that. It's a very different place. We should do. Let's hope we do in the future, because, I mean, do you know what? When you're children and you're in the playground and you get into a little bit of punch-up, you're told you're immature, but that's children who don't look any better. But you're talking about mature, educated allies, like Trump, like Netanyahu, like our Prime Minister. You're looking at educated people there who are still firing missiles. What's the difference between firing a missile and attacking another country than throwing a punch for a child in a playground? You expect it from kids. But, men have got a lot to answer for. No, well, supposedly, supposed to be mature, educated adults. We get told off in the playground, don't we, for fights and squabbles? We get told off by the teacher. But it's you expect it when you're at that age because you don't know any better. But when we're supposed to be, our leaders are supposed to be highly educated, grown-up people who make good decisions, but they're all as bad as each other. I mean, look at Tony Blair. Tony Blair took the UK. Tony Blair and Bush took the UK and the US to war in Iraq, invaded another country because of weapons of mass destruction, which never existed. It was all a lie. Why didn't Blair ever get treated for or taken for war crimes? It's crazy, really, isn't it? Yeah, it is crazy, isn't it? Really, it's sad and unfortunate because it's always the innocent people that suffer. You know, Israel will come over that, you know, they're only retaliating back, but then, you know, you'll find out a Palestinian hospital or a hospital in Iraq was partially hit and vice versa. I think they're all as bad as each other. But it is the leaders, isn't it? It's not so much the people, it's the leaders. I just hope things sort out sooner than later. Right, what are we doing here? So we had a bunch of bounces there and a big strong bar, and it has taken off up to the top. I think all the leaders of the world should be women. I'll tell you something for now, the world would be a safer place, and I genuinely mean that. I think the world would be a safer place. They just have an argument, hit each other with a handbag, and it'll all be over and done. I'm only joking. But I think it'd be a safer place if all the world leaders were women. I mean, you've only got to look at some of these big cities on a Saturday night, and the young lads are beating the hell out of each other, and the women are trying to drag them apart. It'd be a safer place, put it that way. Handbags at 10, yeah. It would, though. It'd be a safer place because women tend to think a little bit more than men. The trouble is with men, we're all filled up with way too much testosterone, and that just does you no good when it comes to, you know, these fueled conflicts. Absolutely, yeah. The leaders are sitting in luxury, and it's all the innocent people. You know, it's the children, really, is it? The innocent women and children, really. The men are fighting, and the innocent women and children are suffering the brunt of it, same as it's always been. It's a disgrace, really. I hope it gets sorted out. I don't want to talk too much about it. People get funny about it or passionate about it, but hopefully things get sorted out. I think if these leaders actually got involved in the fight themselves, things may be a little bit different. It's very easy to sit in an office 3,000 miles away and order someone else to fire a weapon. And, you know, that goes for the UK Prime Minister Starmer, Trump, Netanyahu, and the leaders of Iran. You know, they're all doing it from the safety and comfort of their own home, and it's always innocent people. But I won't say any more about it now. But yeah, put women in charge. Things would be a lot calmer. I generally believe they would. I think you're right, Tim. Absolutely. I think you're right. How you doing, buddy, anyway? I haven't spoken to you for a while. I'm assuming you're focusing quietly in the background. New Zealand, Finland, Italy have women. There you go. There you go. You never hear about them fighting, do you? Still watch off and good on you, mate. That's a good point, actually, Karina. New Zealand, Finland, even Germany. I think Germany's a, what's her name? I think they've still got a female prime minister. I've forgotten the name now, but yeah, it's true. New Zealand, Finland, Italy. Mind you, some would agree Starmer's a woman. No, I'm not a fan of him. I really hope, and he's not everyone's cup of tea. Power and corruption, yeah, it is. Waiting for a fail second entry long. Yeah, I mean, it does at the moment seem to be ranging, doesn't it? Between, in fact, let me just get rid of that. And let's adjust this, I think. So I would probably put that there, and we've had a little fail breakout. Where's the top? There. Yeah, it's just tough, isn't it? Angela Merkel, that's it, or Angela Merkel, as we call her. Yeah. I think we should put Arnie in charge. Arnold Schwarzenegger, he wouldn't take no crap. Mind you, we very nearly did at one point. He was a governor, was he? The governor of California, I think, at one point. Mind you, you had Ronald Reagan. The US had Ronald Reagan. He was an actor originally. Zelensky was a comedian, wasn't he? He had a program on TV. He was a comedian. I actually like Zelensky. He comes over very well, I think. I liked how he handled with that stuff when he had Trump and Vance kind of question him. I like how he dealt with himself. I like him. I think he comes over well. The governator. If we had a failed second entry here, tough one really. We may have come a bit too close because we seem to be rattling between these two levels here. We're close to that bottom. I'd like maybe a couple of pushes up here. Second entry short, maybe. It's a tough one, isn't it? Do you know what? I find it hard to make a decision on something that may turn up. For me, it's much more now about how it looks at the time. I don't even tend to count anymore. You know, a second entry that doesn't work by the count is called a visual second entry. So you can adapt things. It's more about how something looks. You know, trading this style is way more about legs, small legs. It's more about legs, isn't it? So I think legs are way more important than how something necessarily looks. It's just not easy to trade this stuff. The thing is, we're bouncing. We sort of closed there. We closed up here. We closed here. So every time we're bouncing off the top, it's closing at different levels. It makes it really hard to trade for. And same at the bottom. We closed here. We closed here before we pushed up. We closed down here. So that's I'm not a fan of trading ranges. If we got a really steep range and we get a higher low off the bottom, that's not too bad. But this isn't particularly steep. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. It's not even 10 points. Yeah, it's a fraction. And the trouble is we're bouncing at different levels, which make it so hard to trade. Now, if you're only scalping for a point, you may get away with it, but other times you'll just get chopped up when it's like this. So we get a lot of this lately, a lot of this choppiness, and it's pretty hard to trade. But, you know, as I've said a bunch of times, even if I'm going for 3 points on a contract, it's $150. If I can win 3 trades in a week, it's $450 over a calendar month. That's about $2,000. Even if I could get half of that, you can earn a really nice living. So you don't need a lot. 1 to 2 trades on average per week, if you can win those. So there's no rush to take trades. And it's something I've kind of slowly learnt myself, and I still struggle from time to time. So I kind of drum it into myself if I can, that if it's not a good setup, leave it. There's no rush, because if you take a loss, the next trade is probably going to get you somewhere close to break even, but probably not. So I always think it's much better to leave a trade, whether it doesn't matter if it goes on to win, if it doesn't look right, because I find if you take a trade that you generally believe was a good one, that is a valuable lesson to learn. If you take a trade where your patience got the better and you knew it was risky, they're the ones that create tilt. They just frustrate you. So 2 to 3 trades a week is enough to earn a really good living. It really is. So I'd say while it's doing this, you're better off just stay out. There's plenty of time. There's plenty of market time that you can trade, to get something. You just never know. It's hard to know what's going on here, really. As I say, every time it bounces, you wouldn't have gone long there, but look at it, took off. There it just chopped around and eventually that bar there. But the trouble is, if you're taking a trade there, you're really supposed to be out before the highs, but you've got a massive risk in about 3 ticks if you're lucky. You don't know it's going to do that, see. And there's no short there. There's no real short here because the tops are up here, so it could trigger you and push up. So there's so many kind of variables. So you need to wait for something obvious and clear. And if you wait for something that's clear, I guarantee you 1,000 other traders are going to see that clear entry as well, and they're going to enter. And the more people that enter into a trade, the more chance it's got of working. And usually when you see really good quality setups, which is why I go for 3 points, good quality setups always make 3 points. When it's chopping around and it's a risky trade, that's when you may be lucky to get a scalp. But if you take good quality setups, super clear ones, you get way more than 3 points. They take off. It's a valid strategy, Tony. If you're going long at the moment, if market's going up and you take a long as soon as it touches the EMA and you risk 1 to make 2, it's probably going to be profitable. There's so many ways. But as you get used to trading and you start to see how the markets work, you can come up with setups of your own, can't you? If you're in a nice trend and you decide to jump in down here because it's closed above that EMA, it's a bullish bar, and you took it, risk 1 to make 2 or 3. Once you get that sort of balance right, there's so many ways of making money out of the markets. But ultimately, it's understanding how the price works. I think price action is so underrated. When I started, I didn't hear so many people talking about price action, but I do a lot now because price action is so accurate. It's unreal. It's uncanny how accurate it is. If you take an absolute beauty setup, they just do not fail. Chilling wine on... Let's just have a quick look at some of the charts off. So this is, when was this? 22 hours ago. So this is a guy called Jope, another trader who's been trading a few years longer than me. So he marked 2 trades there. Both of those trades, that one not so sure about, but both of those trades made 5, 6, 7 points comfortably. So that's one. Let's have a look at the next one. This is Marco's. That trade there, did it make 3 points? I don't think it did. I wouldn't have taken that trade personally. Mac took that one. It made just enough. I think it made 2.25 points. Second entry short, comfortably made 3 points. That one there, I kind of liked, but it was a big bar, but that made 3 points. So let's have a look at the next one. Who's that good looking man? I don't know who he is. Let's have a look at these two. Okay, that one clearly made 3 points. That one made 3 points. That one made 3 points. There's very few good setups. There's another one of Marco's. That made 3 points. 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 Not only 3, they made 6 or 8. Let's have a look at this one. That one did. It's very few that don't make it, especially good setups. There's one of Dan's. Okay. 3 points, 3 points, 3 points, 3 points, 3 points. All of them made 3 points. And he goes for 6 ticks. Let's have a look. Another one of Dan's. Let's have a look. That one, comfortably 3 points. Definitely 3 points. Definitely 3 points. And that one, 3 points. So I'd say the last 30 or 40 of his trade made 3 points. But he only goes for 6. So, you know what I mean? Same again. 3 points, 3 points, 3 points. Comfortably. Another one for joke. That one, 3 points. That one, 3 points. That one, 3 points. That one, 3 points. Very few trades, so we'll go with one more. That one, 3 points. That one, 3 points. That one, 3 points. Easy. You can get the idea. Very few good trades don't make 3 points. Very few. I'd say it's probably 95% of trades make 3 points. So, you know what I mean? I'm pretty sure if Dan took 3 points, he'd make way more money than he does now. But he takes 6 ticks and he goes for runner, and that's where he's comfortable. He takes very little losses. So, you know, if someone's saying, oh, I just can't make any money, I'm scalping for a point, I'd tell them to go for more, because it's more likely they're going to make more money. But whereas Danny's a successful trader, someone who's successful makes a ton of money and trades for a point or 6 points and makes a ton of money. You can't tell them that they should do this or should do that. If you're making money in this business, you're doing well. Yeah, I mean, you know, a lot of people started trading a point. I started trading a point. Dan and Marco trade a point. They go for 6 ticks now. I know Thomas Wade used to take a point. We all trade kind of the same way, but when you do get a bit of experience, you can add extra setups to it yourself. It's up, you know, no one can tell you what to do in trading. You know, it's up to you. You're kind of responsible for your own sort of outcome. But I didn't just decide to take 3 points willy-nilly. You know, I looked into the numbers and did, you know, back tested it all and found out would it be more beneficial. And you know, you've still got to take good trades. The one thing I'll say about is going scalping for a point. Even a poor trade will make money, but I don't think that's necessarily beneficial for you. I think sometimes that can, you know, I think if you take a poor trade, you should lose it because it teaches you to avoid that kind of scenario. Whereas, you know, going for 1 point, you can fluke 1 point really easy. So we've had 2 legs down there, a little bit of a range and a breakout there. We've had 2 legs down. I just don't, something about this I don't like. We are ranging and we've had a little breakout. Now some may take that. It is 2 legs, but it's just something about here I'm uncomfortable with. Is it an inside bar? It's not. They close both together. But there's something about it I don't like. I hope the bar finishes naff. Well, I'm going to avoid it anyway. I would consider that an inside bar, really. It has. I just don't like it. It's just tough at the moment. It's not very easy. See, straight away, if you took that trade now, you'd be worrying. A higher low is a better option off there, I think. We have had 2 legs down, and it looks like a nice measured leg. But look at that. See, if you'd have taken that, has it stopped you out yet? Not yet. Be surprised if it doesn't, though. It's bound to. Yeah, see, what is the problem with going along there? It's not an inside bar because it closes at the same level. We're clearly ranging and we have a little breakout. So normally most breakouts would fail. So why wouldn't you necessarily take a long there? My experience of trading tops and bottoms here, I don't have any success with it, which is why I wait for higher lows. But what do you do? What do you do? That's why I avoid these. You know, Mac will say ranges are easy. You just go long off the bottom and short the top. Well, we got a little failed breakout there and a bullish bar. So why wouldn't you go long there? If that worked, Mac could mark that as a failed breakout. Well, I didn't take it because it looks like an inside bar to me. But when I have a closer look, it technically not. Well, I would consider it an inside bar. But if you look, the trouble is, if you look at it, it closes at the same level. So it's just that the trouble is with trading Pats is there's so much grey area. And that's what makes it difficult at times. It's not straightforward. Now, as Mac will say, most breakouts will fail. And we're clearly ranging here. There's no argument there. We've used this as support and we've bounced off it multiple times. So, you know, sometimes it'll go a bit low and then push up. But what I do like about that is there's a bearish bar there, which is triggered. Does that mean it's going to push up and take that out? It's hard to tell at the moment. You rarely see me taking trades like this. If I take a trade off the top or bottom, it's with a higher low or a lower high. I never just take a trade like that because I have no success with them. Is he still talking? Yeah, he is. I mean, it is finding support here, so technically it is range at the moment. It's not like yours. Have you reloaded your data? Right click it and then just click reload all historical data. That's if you're on NinjaTrader, and it should make your bars like mine. I don't think Thomas would have taken that anyway. I don't think he did. He's just changed his. He's just changed his range to there. I don't really think it matters too much. Still touching a bunch of times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe 5 underneath there. Let's see if there's something a bit larger down there now. Trouble is, you never know when it's going to break out and continue down. So I would tend to avoid something like that anyway, and then see what happens. If we get a higher low, then I'd have had a go at it, but we didn't. We triggered and came straight back down, and it's slowly dropping. It looks like a two-tiered channel. That it's working nice along that midline, so I'm happy with that. So you'd have to guess now. We may get a retest of this bottom. We've kind of had one there, but we've got the open here, so you may be taking profits there. So we may get a retest of this. I would have a short there, but it could fail now and push in. But let's just extend that right down there, but just kill the colour. So this is the whole of the day, really. We opened here, dropped down to here. If we had a second entry here, rejection off the bottom of this, I'd have a go at that. Let's just bring it a bit closer. Excuse me a sec. I'm just going to take a quick bathroom break. Okay, so there's our first entry. See if we can get another push up. Oh, I just had a message from Thomas Wade. That's nice of it. Hi, Lance. I just heard you talking very positively about the Discord and the Academy. I just wanted to say thank you for your kind words. I'm glad you find it valuable. Once again, I appreciate your words. I've heard you talking very positively. I'm wondering if he watches me, do you think? Or is that wishful thinking? I think someone might have mentioned to him, actually, probably. But that's nice of him. Kind of him to say so. I'll have all the rules traders make up. It works. Let me just move that up a bit. Okay, see what happens here. We have had a little bounce off the open there. Come on, Powell, let the man go. Trouble is looking for a possible short here. There's always a possibility this could fail. I think it's gone down a little bit too far to push back in, personally. So if we could get a nice second entry short here, I'd probably have a go at that. Certainly not here. We'd have to be up here, really. I'd want it back to that EMA, and ideally testing that and getting some rejection off the bottom of there. I wouldn't take it here, really. It's just choppy and sideways. May just come down. It's kind of off the key entry point. I just don't like taking trades that haven't contacted with either at least the channel at EMA or even just the underside of here and the EMA would do it for me. And not only that, there's just not much space to the lows. That ATR is relatively low, so there's not even a point there, I don't think. Tick below there. Now, you'd have to push through to there to get a point, so it's just not even worth it. Too far from the EMA, it may trigger push-up. We are finding a little bit of support. You can see it through here, can't you? There's the open there. So it bounced a bunch of times, dropped below, and then launched up above it. So I think I have to respect this. So to get through this, really, I think you need a few more sellers. So I'd prefer a second entry short testing this. That may get a few more interested in shorten it down to possibly the overnight lows or down here somewhere.
Connection lost.
Is he finally finishing? So I would prefer, that's triggered now, to push up there and test this. And you may even consider that as a triple test, possibly. We'll see. I mean, it is kind of off this, well, it's negligible, I think, off this key entry point. Trouble is, it's sideways, so I think that devalues it to an extent. So I would much prefer to push above there, take that out, and even that as well, and then get some rejection here. I suppose you could probably call that a little fail breakout then. Sometimes it just drops. It just depends if there's enough sellers there to push that down, but I can't see a great deal of buyers in here. Maybe buyers are waiting up here if you want to take that down a bit lower, but who knows? Who knows? Trader 5 just announced a drop from 10 days between payouts to 7. That's good. And increase their discount 35%. Wow. So they've just knocked it 5%. I'm going to pick myself up another one. I did say I wasn't going to, but let's have a look. So what is it? 5. So the 50s I like 509. So minus 35% takes it down to 330. So for us UKs,
Connection lost.
1.36, I think it is at the moment. That makes it 240. I don't think that's that bad. We pay 105 just for the Apex fee, and then if you think about another four evaluations, or even 2 at the price they are now, it's the same price. So I'm definitely starting to think more about these. So I did have some, and then I just went through that rough spell, and that's why I took a week off. But I don't think it's that bad, UK pound wise. I do like that when you get to 3,000, you could take $2,000. Apex, you could take 900 when you get to 3,000. So it's a good deal, that is. If anybody does use them, I do have a link in the description. It does help me out with a bit of commission. It doesn't cost you anything extra. So if you do use one and you use my link, I think it takes you through to the page, then I do get a kickback from it. So it is appreciated. But if you're newish, I wouldn't suggest for a second you do that. If you're new to trading or newish and you're moving into evals, I would pick up the cheapest evaluation you can find and never get more than one. You don't need it. While you're learning, you want a taste of what it feels like. there's no point in getting trade copiers and getting 5 or plus or whatever, because all you're going to do, you take one trade, you just copy it. You take a bad trade, you copy it to the other 4, and you end up blowing 5 times as much money. Trust me, I know what it feels like. So, in fact, up until the time I made money, I only ever had one. So, yeah, if you're new and you want a taste of it, wait for the 80% off and the 90% off and just find the cheapest one you can find and then take your time. I wouldn't even try and risk it and try and get to a PA. You've got to get to a PA organically. If you take a risk, which we can all do, and you get lucky, you're going to pay $140 and I guarantee you're going to lose it. So slow and steady and just really watch how much you put into trading. You can spend a fortune on learning to trade. And I tell you something now, the journey is way more miserable when you're losing money. So keep tight on them purse strings.
Connection lost.
Trading, take profit now on trade rate. My connection seems to be disconnecting and cutting back. I'm not at the moment, but I am thinking about picking one up. If I look here, I don't get much affiliate stuff from Take Profit Trader. I think I got about $98. But if I get another, if someone uses my code again, I'm not suggesting you go out and buy it for the sake of it. You can actually use your affiliate money to purchase an account. So let me have a look at my wallet here. Yeah, you can see it is my wallet. I don't get a huge amount from this, but any you do use, it's appreciated. But if I got one more of those, I'll be able to use that. You can use that to pay for your evals. So if I get another one, I'm gonna do that. But I like them actually. And same again. If you're new to trading, I wouldn't suggest you take that route because I think it's about $119. That's for your eval, and there's no fee, PA fee. That's all you pay. But if you fail it, it's cost you $119. So for newer guys, I wouldn't suggest you do that. You want the cheapest evaluations possible, just to give you a taste. So if you're making money, Take Profit Trader is a good source. But if you're still learning and you're struggling, then I wouldn't touch them, to be honest with you. Okay, so here's our break here. So you may argue there's a triple test there. I'm just going to avoid this first one because it looks like a little micro. I want it to break and try again. It may work, but you could argue that's a triple test. But as we've bounced a few times off the open here, I'm going to wait for a lower high or a second leg. I've been caught out by these. It may go up and retest this. If that ends up bearish, it may trigger and push up a bit. It could come down, who knows? But it actually is a second entry short. There's your first entry. But that's no good anyway, so... But sometimes it would just cross over and drop. That's the unfortunate thing about Pats. We have to wait for the move to have already started. We can't just go, we're here, let's go short. See, if you look on the MES chart, you've actually got a setup there, and that is relatively tight. So it doesn't look terrible, that, but it hasn't triggered. So there may be something like that there. It doesn't look too bad. It is a second entry short, but it hasn't triggered as of yet. I don't think that looks that bad, to be honest with you. But as we've been ranging on here, it could push up. I don't think it will. But as I say, it hasn't. My connection's dropped. I'm not sure what you're on about, bud. I've not noticed my connection dropped. I am using Traderify for my one Traderify accounts. Well, I've not noticed it. Sometimes there can be a few issues with them, as long as it comes straight back.
Connection lost.
Channel break new high. It's very tempting. But it may trigger you and push up here. It's hard to say at the moment. What would be my perfect setup? One of my favourite setups at the moment are triple tests. Trying to think the last time I saw a good setup, to be honest with you. I like triple tests, I do. The good thing about triple tests, if you get a leg down, you get a triple test, often you'll get a second complete leg down. I don't know what you're hearing. It is working that, but the bar's just not quite good enough. Taylor took that one. His looked quite different than mine. Marco took it as well. His bar looked a lot different than mine. Let me have a look. Mine had a bit of a stem. It was a couple of ticks away from a doji. Let me just have a look. Yeah. Taylor's bar looked better than mine. That looked better than mine. Mine had a quite a bit of a stem, which made me a bit nervous. What's Marco going for? 5. Marco's going for a 1.75. Good on you, lad. I just don't like that wick. There's a lot of support along here. You can see it. So far as it come down. So is that a tick, is it? So it's only come down a 1.25 as of yet. So tick below. So there. Just the bar wasn't fantastic. So you've got to, depending on where you got in, did you reload? Your sticks look different. Yeah, I've reloaded, bud. Try yours, bud. Sean mentioned it, and I reloaded it. He said they look the same now. Try to find it. Oh, yeah, it is. Just not noticed that. Reload my chart. Okay, let's reload it. In fact, it's different than Marco's, isn't it? Mine wasn't really. You got a point on that, did you? See if it looks better. Well, oh yeah, that looks much better. So I go for 3. In fact, I wouldn't go for 3 there. I would do there. So where's 3 there? It's probably going to work, isn't it? I'll be amazed if it doesn't. Yeah, it would have worked. Oh, that's a shame. Look at it go. Took it for 9. That's frustrating. My signal bar was naff. Clear triple test there. The signal bar was about a tick off a doji. Oh well. It does look like trade of 8 is playing tricks today. Let's have a look. That was nice, that one. Disconnect every 10 seconds. Yeah, I've got my watts over here. And this keeps flickering. That's a shame. That looked lovely now. Mine, not so good. Thomas Wade took it as well. Every bloody man bar me. Let's see. Dan says he took it as a screw it trade. That doesn't sound like Dan to me when he says that. I always thought he was super cautious about everything. But there you go. Flushing the order book here. So that's a shame, really. I'd have definitely had a go at that if the bar was better. Start my Ninja Trader. Let's see if it still gets to or RA plus. You're probably right, actually. It might just be how he terms it, I suppose, wouldn't it? But that's a shame, that. I thought I was being super cautious there and doing the right thing because it was about a tick off a doji. But I know when Sean joined the party an hour or so ago, he said your bar's different and I reloaded them. So they have been reloaded, but I don't know. I blame you guys for not telling me. You should have told me. No, I'm only kidding. So, yeah, 1, 2, 3, triple test. Bearish bar, yeah, definitely. That's what bars are showing. Beautiful second. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that at all. Second entry short, yeah. And a triple test. Triple test better. It's nice if you can have 2 setups in one, but a triple test pushed that, nicked off that midline from top to bottom and dropped. It's just unfortunate. My bar was naff. I do like triple tests. I got to say, I've got it on the MES. It looked okay on the MES. Trouble is, I do that for 2 micros. It looked okay. The thing is, we had a second entry shot there, but it didn't trigger, so it's okay to take that. That didn't look too bad. The trouble is, I got that set to micros. So I use this chart for penguin type setup, which it kind of was and it wasn't, but I noticed it, but I didn't want to just jump in willy-nilly. I'm trying to be sort of super cautious, but with the signal bar I had, you know, you got to do the best with the signal bar you had, and mine was just poor, but what can you do? Now, if I'd have seen a few other traders in that and I didn't have a signal bar and I got a pullback, I may have had a go at that because there was so many people winning it. Taylor took it, Marco took it. Now, they showed us, Dan didn't. But if I'd have seen their pictures in the better signal bar, I'd have got in on a limit order, but it was kind of too late then. Yeah, it's flicked off again. So let me just take that up to there. In fact, look how that's bounced there and there. Let's draw a proper chart here. Shame in it, really, when you miss something like that. We don't get a lot of good setups, and I think that was I'd say that was a solid 9 out of 10, that. 2 clear legs and a triple test. No, I might have done. See, I know when you said about it, I updated them, didn't I? I only ever usually do it once. I never seem to have a problem, but trouble is, if you've got a slight cut off in your data, you don't know whether that might adjust it. It's hard to say, really. I don't know much about the mechanics and the nuts and bolts. This thing keeps flicking off. This is me Tradeovate thing, and I usually have that open like that to exit all positions. But this section just keeps going black every now and again. So there's obviously something amiss there, isn't there? Just keeps flicking off. So I'm guessing there may be some issues with Tradeovate today. Yeah, so that's what I mean about good setups. They comfortably read the comments. Yeah, it's trying to watch the price and read the comments as well. So it's not always that super easy. I try and just read them when nothing's happening much. But as we were kind of looking at that, that's why I wasn't looking at the comments. I was just kind of waiting for something to. Now, don't get me wrong, the signal bar wasn't fantastic, but if I would have got a lower high, I'd have had a go at it. But that's why I wasn't kind of. Sometimes I look, other times I'm kind of flicking between. I'm looking at the other charts as well. Not easy being a guru, is it? Special, as my mum used to call me. I kind of used to think that was a comment. Maybe it wasn't. Everyone wants my attention. Oh, it's nice to feel wanted, isn't it? Not a lot of volume at all. A lot of this must be because of Powell's talking, really. I guess it probably is. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, when you get something like that, a triple test, we often get a really good solid move. And that went right down for 7 points. So, I mean, 3.25 for me. It's got to push through. So plenty there. I'd have done it in those first 2 bars, but we went down significantly more. So. Now we're back up to the EMA and holding, so let's see what happens here. It may continue down. The trouble is, as we've bounced off there, and this is looking very much like a range, you need to give it a bit of space. I mean, it may try and come down further, but it might not. Second entry short here might not be a bad option, because that might confirm some sort of a bigger trend. That doesn't look too bad. So it's possible we could come down a bit further. Shame about that. That was a really nice setup, that. More the triple test than anything, especially as we broke above this. just a quick point there, mate. If you have Apex trades on on Tradeovate, I'm pretty certain you can't change them over to Rhythmic. That's the case. If you've got them on there, I'm pretty sure you can't swap over. I think I picked up I can't remember, it was a My Funded Futures account on Tradeovate by accident, and I asked if I could trade it over there. They said I couldn't, so I have a feeling you can't do that. You didn't lose anything, did you, bud? I'm assuming if the thing was coming down, you probably still profited, did you? That's why I have this up here with this, so I can just, it'll say no working orders, so I can just cancel anything. And obviously I have my this up here. I've not taken anything today, but you know, any orders that show up here, if they're still live, there'll be a red cross and I can sort of delete them manually. So I've got those options. Okay, so on this range bar here, we've got a higher low there. So I wouldn't take a higher low here. Yes, we've bounced off an area, but we haven't got down to the bottom. So my gut feeling, this could come down a bit lower. It's tempting.
Order submitted.
Trouble, it's such a bloody big bar, isn't it?
Order cancelled.
It's just something about it is telling me just to be cautious. Bar's naff anyway, so close to a doji. Now on this range bar, there is a second entry short, but it is a bit stacked here, and it's just, there's still a little bit of uncertainty. So I'm just doing nothing at the moment. There's certainly nothing obvious. Now we bounced off this little level here, but we didn't come down to the overnight. But there may be a spike in channel, and it may continue down, but it may not. I want to trade something based on what I'm sort of relatively certain about. Second entry long. Yeah, if a second entry long, I mean, there is, well, there's a higher low on this chart, and it looks like, if you look at the range chart, there's a higher low off the bottom, and it's triggered and come down, which tells me it's likely to stop below there, so I think it may come down. So maybe it may come down some more. There may be a channel like that. It's hard to say, but while I'm using the word may, I'll just stay out of it. I'd certainly expect it to break below there, because there's bound to be traders going long here. There is a solid bullish bar off there, then there's a higher low, and it's triggered and it's on its way down, at least at the moment. So it's tough, isn't it? But that second entry short on the range chart has triggered, so that may push up. My gut feeling is going to come below there. If it gets below there, it may come down a bit lower. We're not at overnight highs yet. We've just cleared this area out, including this bit here. So it's, I don't know, it's a toss-up area. It's going a little bit sideways, so there's obviously a little bit of uncertainty. Is that a bottom? Is it a bottom enough traders want to buy from? It just didn't get very far. That's what makes me nervous about thinking about longs just yet. So that's only a possibility, that channel. But what I will say, it could be a spike in channel. We've got a touch, a touch, a touch. So it's a possibility. But at the moment, it's just stacking up, so there's just nothing to do there. Yeah, there is a load of orders down here at 40 below that. 61.40, there's a load of buy orders, so it may come down. It's hard to tell, really. You can trade them at the same time, bud. You can trade Rhythmic and trade Away at the same time. Just it's muggy here today. Yeah, okay. Well, let's show you this bit first. So if I get my connections, you can see I'm connected with Tradeify and Rhythmic at the same time, and that's through Tradeivate. You can see that there. So there's my account there from Tradeivate. So you can trade them at the same time. Okay, I think I'm done for today. I may come back later. I started at 1:30. It's 5 now, so I've done 3.5 hours. It's not the easiest day, so dinner time in UK here, so I'm going to go and have some dinner. I'm going to start trading for an hour and a half later in the evening. If I have a break from, say, 5 to 6, there's still 2.5 hours of trading time, so even if I trade till 5:30 to 6:30, I can come back for an hour and a half, 2 hours. Trouble is, if you're not finding a lot of setups, it'd be daft not to come back, really. It's been hard at the moment. Is he still talking? Is he, pal? I think he might be. Yeah, he's still talking, so that may be why it's a little bit low on the volume side today. It's just not doing a lot, really. It's just not many bars today. Not much you can do here. It's a shame about that one, but there's nothing you can do about it. Yeah, so it might be an idea to trade a little bit later. So I'm going to finish now. I start now at 1:30 in the UK, same time Mac does. So sometimes you'll see some good setups, and it's a little bit quieter, but there was nothing today really. When I came to the charts, we were in the middle of this, so there was just nothing you can do. So I'll leave you guys to it. Hopefully it'll finish soon, and we may get a bit of a movement, and you may get something. But failing that, have a good evening. Stay safe, and we'll catch up to, is it Thursday tomorrow? I think it is, isn't it? Yeah, it's Thursday tomorrow. The week's gone quick again. No trading next Friday, so you got a long weekend, Independence Day. So I will leave you guys to it. Best of luck, and we'll catch up tomorrow. Bye for now.